Alright, this question 2, it's another question on analytical geometry. So we have 2.1. Where's the marker? Okay, let's use this. Right, yeah, perfect. Now 2.1 and 2.2, where we have to sketch an ellipse. Okay, so it's a two-part question where we are dealing with a analytical geometry question, that's circle, and we have a what is this thing called? Ellipse. Okay, so again, let me just divide the paper like this. Okay, first let's get rid of this, and then we divide the paper like this, and then I drag it down again. Okay, now in the diagram below, O is the center, so we are told O is the center. We have a center O is the center of the circle at the origin. This is important. O is the center of the circle at the origin. ML is a tangent. Another piece of information that is important for answering this question. To the circle at this point M. L is a y-intercept of ML, D is a point on the x-axis, B is an angle of inclination. Another important part of the question. B, that's an angle of inclination. Alright, so this circle has what we call a radius. So let me just connect this point and the center like this. Okay, not on the point I want it to be. Alright, there we go. That's a radius. There's no way. Okay. There's nowhere where they say we need to show the radius, but it's gonna come in handy for a part of the discussion. Now, they want us to determine the equation of the circle for 2.1.1. For 2.1.1, they want us to find the equation of the circle. So since this is an equation, since this is a circle with the center at the origin, we're going to be using this equation. X squared y squared equals to r squared. Okay, so what we have to do is actually find r, the radius of the circle. So the only way to do that is actually finding a point that is found along the circle. In this case, M is a point that lies on the circle, so we're just going to take it and substitute it into the equation so that we can calculate r. In fact, we are looking for r squared, not r. Yes. Then we substitute minus 5. Y, that's 12. Squared is equals to r squared like this. Then minus 25, that's 25. Minus 5 squared, that's 25. Plus 12 squared, that's 144. And then we add, we get 169. This is r squared. This is what we want, an r squared. We are looking for an r squared because I have to leave x as is, y as is, just substitute this value only. So therefore the equation is going to look like this: x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared, which is 169. That's our answer for 2.1.1. For 2.1.1. This is the answer for 2.1.1. Next question, 2.1.2. Determine the equation of the tangent ML in the form y equals 2. So we need an equation for a straight line. You still remember this question question 1, where we had to find an equation for a straight line. We are given another case where we have to find another equation of a straight line. This time around it's a tangent. Okay, it's a tangent. Again, the tangent is a straight line. To get an equation of a straight line, you need a point. We have one. Check. What's missing? It's a gradient. So in the context of a circle, since we don't have 2 points, that's gonna allow us to calculate the, 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 the gradient directly. So instead, we'll have to find or use other means of calculating that gradient. So here's the reason as to why I showed the radius. In analytical geometry, in Euclidean geometry, one of the theorems states that a radius is perpendicular to what? A tangent. So we're going to use this property to find the gradient of the green line, the tangent. So we know that the gradient of the tangent, when multiplied by the gradient of the radius, it should give us a -1. So we're going to calculate the gradient of the radius. That's the easy part because I have 2 points that I can use to find the gradient of the radius. So we're going to say mr is equals to yo minus ym over xo minus xm equals to, what is yo? That's 0 minus ym, that's 12, divided by xo, that's 0 minus -5, like this, equals to, I'm getting a -12 over 5. So that's the gradient for that is the gradient for the radius. Now let's go ahead and calculate the gradient of the tangent. So m tangent multiplied by mr should give us a -1. M tangent, it's what I want. M tangent multiplied by mr, that is a -12 over 5, equals to -1. So it's either I divide by the -12 over 5 on both sides, or I can just multiply by the multiplicative inverse on both sides. -5 over 12 multiplied by -5 over 12 as well. So this cancels that, the 12 cancels that, or you can just do the dividing thing, it's okay. Gradient of tangent, it's +5 over 12. So therefore we're going to take this gradient and work out the equation of the tangent. So we're going to say y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient we substitute. For the y and the x, we're going to substitute the m point. Y, that's 12. Gradient, that's 5 over 12. And then x, it's -5 plus c. 12 is equals to, we multiply that, we get a -20 over 12. Okay, they're not equals to, but plus c, plus c. And then we transpose, we get a 12 plus 20 over 12 is equals to c. We add those two, we say 12 plus 20 over 12. 20 over 12. Alright, no. Wait. I see I made a mistake. The 5 times 5, it's not 20, it's 25 instead. I see the blunder I made here. So it's 25. And then that's 12 plus 25 over 12. I'm getting a 169. 169 over 12 is equals to c. Therefore, the equation of the tangent looks like this. The gradient is 5 over 12 x, and then c, that's plus 169 over 12, like this. So that's the equation of the tangent. Where's my marker? Alright, let me just highlight it like this. All right, next up is to calculate, or write down the coordinates of L. Now, they say write down, not calculate, write down. So, actually the C value of that straight line, look, they did mention that L is the y-intercept of line ML. So, the coordinates of L are actually the y-intercept of the straight line ML. So, writing down the coordinates of 2.1.3, L is just going to be 0. And the C value of that straight line, ML, the one we just calculated before. So the value for C, it's 169 over 12. 169 over 12. So these are the coordinates for L. Determine the size of B, the angle of inclination. Okay. 2.1.4. We are looking for beta this time around. Okay, 2.1.4. We're going to be using this formula. The gradient is equals to tan of theta. In this case, we're going to be saying beta. The angle beta, it's the angle of inclination. Represents the angle of inclination. The M, it's for gradient. Gradient of the line that creates that angle of inclination. Okay, so the angle B is being created by line MD. Let me highlight. This purple line creates the angle of inclination B. So we should be looking for the gradient MD. Therefore, gradient MD is equals to ym minus yd. Then we divide the whole thing by xm minus xd equals to, what is ym, that's 12, minus what is yd, that's 0, divided by what is xm, that's minus 5, minus what is xd, that's negative 3, equals to 12 over negative 5 plus 3, that's going to be negative 2, equals to a negative 6. So that's the gradient. Okay, my brain is half awake, so I need to verify the calculations. Minus 5 minus 3, just to check. Okay, negative 6. Negative 6 is the answer. So we have the gradient. Now it's time to calculate. Wait, hang on. Okay, like this, like that. Yeah, okay, it is negative 6. It is negative 6. But now, okay, alright. So therefore, we're going to say gradient 6 is equals to tan B. You see what I did? I did not include the negative sign on there. Therefore, beta is going to be 180 minus arctan of that gradient 6. And then we punch that in. 180 minus arctan of 6. I'm getting a 9946 if we round this off to 2 decimal places. In fact, we should, because that's what the instructions have stated about. So that's 99.46 degrees. That is beta. If you have a negative gradient, you want the angle of inclination. You don't include the negative on your calculations. Then when you calculate the angle of inclination, you're gonna subtract the value of the arctan from 180 degrees, right? Anyway, by just looking at the angle beta, the angle of inclination, it should be bigger than 90 degrees. So it makes sense. It makes sense to say 180 minus. Now for the last question, 2.2, we have to draw on the grid provided on the answer book, the graph defined by, this is an ellipse. This is an ellipse graph, okay? An ellipse graph. I don't know how you guys plot this thing in class. Let me just grab the grid. Let me grab the grid. I have the answer book. I have the answer booklet. Okay, yeah, maybe next time I record these videos, if the folder has a answer book, I'll just try to squeeze that in. Alright, so this is the grid they are talking about. Okay, maybe this was a bad idea. Let me try putting it here. Yeah, let me try putting it here. I'm gonna hide this part. Yeah, because I don't know what's happening. I don't want the grid to be below the writing. I want it to sit on top. So on the writing paper, I see that I have a bit of a problem. Okay, now I'm just gonna label or mark down the grid like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8, minus 9. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, then a negative 8. So how do you plot an ellipse? I don't know how you guys you were taught in class, but the best way to plot an ellipse is to take the square roots. Let's use purple. To take a square root of this value and take the square root of this value as well. So the square root of a 3 squared, square root of 3 squared, that is equals to a plus minus 3, and the square root of a 36 is equals to a plus minus 6. That's the easy way. That is the easy way out of this one, right? But plotting an ellipse is just you need an x-intercept. So you need an x-intercept and a y-intercept. So for the x-intercept, you let y to be 0, you solve. Then for the y-intercept, you let x to be 0, you solve, so on and so forth, right? But at the end, you're gonna end up with this as your y-intercept. This is the y-intercept. Why the y-intercept? Because the 36 is the denominator of y, and then the plus minus 3, that is going to be the x-intercept. What am I saying? Yeah, the x-intercept. The x-intercept, that's going to be a plus minus 3. Why? Because the 3 squared was the denominator of the x variable. Alright, then we plot the plus minus 3. This is negative 3. This is plus 3. And then we have the orange that represents the y-intercept. This is the y-intercept, so that's 6, positive 6, and negative 6 right here. And then we connect everything. You don't connect by lines. You connect using curves like this. Not as perfect, but yeah, it sends a good message. Now that's 2.2 for the question 2. That concludes the question 2, and now we're gonna jump to question 3, which is a trigonometry question.